when you slam on the brakes
Yeah.
because your body is not being braked. Your
Yeah.
inertia of your body continues to go forward when you
Exactly.
do it, right?
Yeah.
Just an idea.
On that note, I have a question. If things all have like a gravity ratio, shouldn't elements in the atmosphere be like for example, the higher you go, less oxygen, because oxygen is a heavier element, but the lighter elements, if theoretically, if we were to go right before the ozone layer, shouldn't we be able like to find hydrogen, helium, like the whole ladder, because of just the atomic mass? It's lighter, it's going to float up,
Well,
right?
all those elements, are in space. They all
Yeah.
exist.
And the moon, and in like heavier isotopes, and like in heavier compounds as well. It's very great thought, Lulu.
What's going on, Bernie?
Just
Hello,
makes sense.
hello.
Hi, Bernie.
Hey Bernie, I know you're smart. What's the actual linear energy density on the surface of the Earth? I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh dear. Linear density on compared to what? Like
Just on
compared
in terms of joules per meter, because I did try to explain
So
the
when
beginning
you
of this.
go below in the ocean, you get exponential increase with the differential, and when you go up, you also get exponential increase from the differential into atmosphere, and then you connect the two, and then you get real power right there. So it's like on ground level, I think it's zero, but when you connect into the ground and you connect into the atmosphere, then it goes up a whole lot more, right?
Yeah. Well, it's some sort of energy density, but it's actually what Salvatore Paez keeps talking about is super force. I kept trying to explain that how because he's using a theoretical limit, and it's the limit is nonsense. It's greater than a black hole, so it's nonsense. And but I'm trying to get the real value because it's gonna define the real value is gonna define the strength of my force field that I'm trying to come up with. And that's why it's very important. If it's too low,
Okay.
if the value is too low, my force field is going to be very strong. But if it's too high, my force field is going to be very ineffective.
Well, so then to adjust it, you would put some energy up, like an antenna up or an anchor down over ocean or into the atmosphere to ease or increase, right?
Well, I'm going to increase the strength with the current, like an electric current. The linear energy density is just an ambient value that I'm not sure of, and but to for the strength, I just need to increase the current of the.
I know of a few papers that like show it because it's like it differs on from sea level how higher up you go, right? Like it depends on the height of the land of where you are, is one thing that affects it majorly, right?
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of factors. There's the gravity, the gravitational potential, the electric field, the magnetic field of the Earth, the cosmic energy, the solar energy, then the solar flux. So a lot of things. So, but um, that's why I just wanted to know your opinion because it's a very important value. With that value, it's gonna define the strength of the
Yeah,
force field.
I'll look up afterwards for you, and I'll get it ready for like an email you or something. The papers that I've read on it for before that are a little older that were like measuring it and like calculating different aspects of it.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
They did a lot of it in like the 1800s to like early 1900s. It's in a lot of the science books from back then.
Okay, but I guess it's if it's too theoretical, I'm afraid it's going to be offset. But if it's measured,
no, it's all measured stuff. Like they literally measure the differential from the ground up into the atmosphere and like give you different equations on how to actually calculate it and stuff.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks.
No problem, my friend.
So I did some work on my Earth batteries. I got 5 cells going now. And I'm running a
very nice
capacitor bank with the chaser light on it. So these are putting out about 9 volts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. 9 volts. And
I watered these 3
Wait,
days
9 volts each?
The whole setup.
Oh, the whole set. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you watered them how long ago?
3 days ago.
Nice. That's really cool. This is a project I can get my head around.
Yeah.
Cool, eh?
Very nice.
Absolutely epic. Like real free energy right there.
Yep. That's about as free as it gets.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
Hey, Ben, the stuff you were working on Monday, sorry I missed the show, but what was it exactly?
Monday. What were we working on Monday?
You sent an email to everybody.
So that day, I believe we were trying to measure some of the current voltage coming off of the lightning thief to see if we could get an idea of the efficiency. I believe it was that day we also attempted to partially close the loop with the paradox box, but that turned out to be a misreading. I've since corrected that and just I'm not using the paradox box right now. So basically just what we went over earlier.
Okay. The Pandora's box or the paradox box?
Yeah, either or. Honestly, we can't really market these things as with the names that I have. If we want to like put them in the Coil Kits lab shop, a lot of devices already have like there's already a lumen lamp and there's already a paradox box, puzzle box, toy or whatever. So, if we want to put them on the Coil Kits lab shop, we're gonna have to change the name of some of these things, but they're pretty easy to build. Like if you want to, it's just 2 magnets glued together. I don't know how Michel did it. I'm gonna have to ask him, and maybe we'll put together a tutorial. But he glued, these 2 magnets together, north poles facing each other, and then just wrapped the bifilar coil around it. So it's very simple.
Thank you.
Yeah, that fascinates me right there with because it was Boyd Bushman that talked about how you force 2 magnets at the same pole together and you get a little bit of an anti-gravitic effect when dropping them. And then by putting the coils around it, having it in the center, that's a very key aspect to go.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't even considered that. I'll have to look into it. You said it was Boyd? Boyd who?
Boyd Bushman from Skunkworks before he died.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, because this is a really cool device that Michel sent me, and I have barely scratched the surface of what it's capable of. So I'm going to need your guys' help to try to figure out how to implement this in the best way, for sure. And I appreciate that, Bernie.
Absolutely, Ben. Love the work.
All right. Oh, yeah, we have the lumen lamp here. I put a new battery in it.
The lumen lamp. So what's powering that bad boy?
So it's got a 12-volt battery in the back. We're still trying to determine the efficiency, but it appears that the MJ L21194 transistor is more efficient. So just keep that in mind if you decide to build one of these things. It is open source on Michel's bench, which is Michel's YouTube channel. But I am working on trying to get some of these out to you guys on the team and stock them up on the Coil Kits lab shop.
Very nice work.
It looks like some stuff that you stare at and then you become hypnotized and
It's very relaxing. To be honest, this light, it just has a natural oscillation where the string of lights, LEDs inside just blink on and off, and I don't know, it mimics a candle kind of, so I like it.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just wondering, hey Mike, if you use the resonance to blow up a building, but but if you use the resonance level, but with less amplitude, you're still gonna feel it, obviously.
Yep.
But that's probably that's probably therapeutic as well, because I know they're able to kill cancer with sound waves
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep. Well, that's
So-
what they're using. That's what they're using on my shoulder right now to break up the calcium that's in my shoulder.
Is it radio frequency?
Oh wow.
Called radio
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah. Ultrasonic. Yep.
Radio
Ultrasonic,
frequency ablation or something like that.
Well, it just you put a high frequency into it, it starts breaking up, just kind of like the graphene.
Yeah, they're also trying to utilize that kind of ultrasonic technology to break up the gunk that causes dementia inside the brain, which is very cool. Could imagine you not being 100% better, but imagine going out of like one session and being significantly more clear-minded if you're suffering from that ailment. That would be potentially like revolutionary in that realm.
Or like kidney stones,
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Those are very painful.
Yeah. It's just cool. Like, yeah, it has a lot of benefits. A lot.
So, Mike, real quick, because I did measure the the DC current and the voltage on the lumen lamp to try to get a gauge of the efficiency, and just based on those readings, and Michelle said I have to hook up a 1 ohm resistor just to get the full power. But just based on those readings, it was reading like basically it was maintaining the voltage. It was only a very, very slight loss in voltage, like a 0.01 millivolt or something.
Yeah.
And so basically the voltage was being maintained, but the current was 280 going in and 260 milliamps coming out, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So if we go just based on that, that's around 93% efficient.
Yeah, quarter of an amp.
Yeah. So it's I don't know if that's the full like official efficiency, but we're gonna do the 1 ohm resistor test and see if we get some similar results. But I don't know. I have a feeling that this thing is a little bit more efficient with the light bulb that I've attached. So it's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, just try what I told you earlier with the capacitor and the full wave bridge.
Yeah, we're gonna do that with the lumen lamp. Hopefully, because the lumen lamp is using the same circuit, but it's using a different coil. So maybe we might be able to get a little bit better results with this.
Yeah, when you're working with this high frequency stuff, you have to set the waveform in a way in your configuration in order to get a real good reading on it, because it's very, very hard when you start dabbling with the stuff we're dabbling with.
Yeah, I've noticed that getting a full picture of the power factor of these systems is not straightforward by any means.
No.
And you definitely can't use regular equipment, and most of the digital stuff, you'll lose the type of energy that you're trying to measure in it and all sorts of things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you see my screen?
My bad, we
Let's
double
try it.
clicked. Sorry, we double clicked again.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
What happened?
It's on.
It's up now. We see it.
Oh yeah. Okay, I just stopped hearing noise. I was wondering, did I get cut off or something? So you guys want to see something cool?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Bill, you're amazing.
Yeah. Look at that. The station extreme light. It can create 100 petawatts power of laser.
Petawatts. How big is that?
Petawatt.
Petawatts. It's
That
like
sounds
10,
big.
Is that 10 to the 20 something,
yeah,
23rd?
10 to 15 actually. It's
Oh my
100
God.
petawatts, so it's 10 to 1 times 10 to the 17 watts actually. Watts. It's crazy, man. They're able to create that type of laser these days. And they say that it's
That
able
like
to.
burn
It's
through space time, no? Like that's crazy strong.
I know it says it's able to cut through time, space time, and things like that.
Oh my God. It's gonna
Teleportation.
rip a hole through our.
Yeah, I did. That was from this week because this week I did some research on how to produce the way to produce the strongest electric field, and I just figured, well, if we use a powerful laser and we create pair production from that with 100% efficiency, then we could create an extremely strong electric field. But turns out we don't need that much power to create a force field. So that's why I was looking at that much power. But it's pretty amazing where we're at right now. Actually, it's from China, but we got to do something better, man. Hopefully, Canada will come up with a better laser, 1,000 petawatts. How about that, Mike and BurnEye?
Anything Canada does that's remotely like best of the world, America instantly shuts down, aka the Arrow program, aka BlackBerry, and I think that's all we ever did.
What about the Maple Leaf generator?
See? Haven't even heard.
I'm
Maple
kidding.
Maple syrup generator.
I was about to
Whoa!
say the maple. Good thing they haven't taken our maple syrup over yet. It's still hard.
Yeah.
Maple syrup generator.
They don't know. They don't know the secret yet. That's why.
You know, because you said it now. If Trump is listening, you know, he better watch out. Like he might.
It's the fuel to start your day. It makes a sweet day out of your pancakes and waffles, right? It's the fuel of the future.
Oh man, you guys keep talking about food. All right, I'm hungry now. I need to.
I know I'm eating.
All right.
It's like, stop.
Mike keeps eating too. He's been eating from the start.
Yeah, almost. Not quite, but
Teasing us, Mike. I'm just gonna go grab one thing, and then I'll be back in a couple of minutes and do a quick presentation before it ends, I guess.
all right.
Nice. I'm gonna go grab some poutine fries.
Yeah, me too.
Poutine.
That sounds good.
Poutine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna eat a bunch of what's his
Actually,
name?
no.
Poutine from Russia.
A poutine train. It comes with gravy and curds, right?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
I have a question. NASA keeps on measuring to see the planets and other solar systems as the Goldilocks, you know, planets.
Mhm.
But they, you know, like all these documentaries, but they're missing one key aspect. You know, they're measuring for atmosphere, they're measuring for water, but they're not measuring for salinity. If there's no salinity in the water, I don't care if the planet is in a habitable zone, it's still, we cannot as human beings live on it. The water has to be salty for life to, you know, for humans to survive. If the water, you know, the mass body of water is not salty, we won't, you know, like,
Yeah.
until they don't tell people that. They're like, oh, we found Kepler so and so number and this and that. But dude, if there's no salt in the water,
There could be, you know, a billion planets out there. And if it's just missing that one element, that could throw the whole part of the ecosystem off that would prevent that planet from having life. like you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, like it could have oxygen,
So,
it could have an atmosphere, but if that water is
Mhm.
not like our water, then like it just I don't
it's you know what? It's one of those mysteries that we don't know until we actually get to the place that
Mhm.
has something similar to what we have going on here. I
I
don't think we're just a fluke, right?
Hmm.
I don't believe in that.
No.
I think there's something else to it. I heard some other fascinating stuff about the moon,
Mhm.
where the guy made a pretty good argument. He's talking about our moon. Okay. When
Mhm.
our moon goes around our planet, it doesn't spin, it's fixed
Yeah, it's
in
tidally locked.
position. All the other moons in the solar system don't do this.
Mm.
All the moons of Jupiter and Saturn,
They rotate
they rotate around the
their
body,
act.
the large body.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and this is the big one of all, our moon is perfectly round. If you look at some of the moons of Saturn and Jupiter, they're not even close to being perfectly round. Why is it that our moon is the only one in our solar system that is perfectly round?
Well, don't
And
they
does
say
not,
it's the mechanical installation put on here as an observation base for some, intelligent life?
well, the theory he's saying is our moon was not here at the beginning of time. Our moon was brought here.
Brought, or was it stolen by
Brought.
this
No,
gravity?
it was brought here.
Brought. Oh wow. Okay.
So, and then they started talking about the density of the moon. It turns out David Adair, he's an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody who knows all the David Adair, he's very, very smart guy. And he was coming up with all these points. And he says when they released some of the debris from the Saturn V rockets and it hit the moon, one of them hit the moon so hard the moon rang like a bell for 3 days.
Wow.
It echoed.
That's hollow. That's what that means.
The moon is hollow, or a
Yes.
great portion of the moon is hollow.
Makes sense.
Okay. He says that moon doesn't belong here. It was brought here. Based on the information that he's got, he says that moon should not be there.
I don't know where I listened to, I'm not sure which astronaut it was, but something about that when they went up there, they were kicked off the moon, and there were other species there, and told them never to come back, and only to come
Yeah.
back when
Mhm.
humans are
They
worthy
said
of back.
they said they had an ominous presence and they were
No,
being
know why?
watched.
Know why? Know why they were pissed off?
Right.
And David Adair talked about this. He goes, know why they were pissed off? Because they're littering the moon. They're leaving all their space junk there. So,
I'd be pissed off too.
right, if you had somebody come, uninvited guest, come over to your house and dump bags of shit on the floor and leave a whole bunch of garbage and then bugger off 2 weeks later, you'd be pretty pissed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard all of that and fully agree with everything you said regarding the moon.
I mean, just look at the trash we have circulating the earth. They don't want that shit anywhere near them.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were going to say something?
I was gonna say, like, the other day I was thinking about it, the word alien, and then I made a connection to an Arabic word for it,
Mhm.
and it means the same thing. So I wondered, like, alien in Arabic, aliyun, aliyun, aliyun means the high
Yeah.
above ones.
Right.
Yeah, and
Oh, really?
yep.
Etymology is very important. That might be an important connection, Lulu.
Yeah, and then another one, Babel. Bab means door, the Tower of Doors. And if you look at the depiction of the Tower of Babel, it's all little arcs, like little doors, little doors. So that was another, connection I made.
Wow,
Yeah,
I've never heard that. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
just I thought I'll let you guys know, but the word Bab means door. Babel, Tower of Babel, and how it looks, it's all doors. It's a spiral doors, you know? So, yeah, made like perfect sense of the naming.
I'm just gonna scoot out for a quick smoke. I'll be right back. We'll do a little bit of overtime tonight. That's okay with me.
Sounds good, brother. I'm just getting a couple pictures ready.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I ate before the show.
Yeah, me too. But what can you
Right?
do?
Well, it's Ramadan, so it's like as soon as the sun sets. But I guess, were you saying you don't practice or do you practice?
I do not. My parents do. I do not.
Right. So I work for like a Lebanese family now in my construction job, and I've learned that Ramadan is, yes, a holy month, but it is also a month filled with hangry Arabs by the end of the day.
I don't talk to my family during the day out of fear. Very
Right?
true.
Like it's just like up in the morning is good, and then it's like after lunch you just get the death stares because it's like we went out for lunch and they're left hungry, can't even drink water and stuff, and then it's like from that point they're very irritable, very, very irritable. But so would I, it's like you're fasting, so I get it.
They say like last night was the night of destiny. Like your destiny for the whole year is determined by like whatever last night was. Like some kind of, it has to do with the lunar cycle, and
Interesting.
supposedly like it writes your whole year's destiny. So hopefully we all had very good thoughts yesterday.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fascinating too. And it's like, well, I worked hard yesterday at work and then I literally got home and slept and passed out. So I guess whatever my dreams were, or working and sleeping, is my year ahead.
Maybe you worked and it's going to pay off this year too. So, I don't know. Think
Right?
positively. It's
Exactly. Project the positivity. Jordan, I have not. I just made you a mod in my live chat. If you can post the link to that, I would love to see it. It's interesting. It's on Reddit. Found it on Reddit, he says. More orbs videos. Lulu's got some orbs videos. We got to do an episode just on your orbs one day, Lulu.
I really, really need like help gathering all my devices. I probably have like maybe 10 cell phones throughout the years, like old ones, but they're all filled with fascinating things. Because I never trade in my phone. I keep it because, I don't want them to have what I have on there. It's fine. So I just start up a new phone, but I keep the old one with the information in it, So, yeah.
Right? Oh, I feel that. I've got so many too, and I've slowly started figuring them out and like uploading some of the videos and pictures
Yeah,
to them.
I have to put them all like in one, mega memory bank, and then that way I have easier access to them instead of guessing which phone it's on.
Right? Like it's like uploading them to a external hard drive and then organizing them into different
Yes.
folders for presenting each topics. And
Yeah.
that's what I've kind of started to do and put together a few presentations of. And
Man, but
here's one of them.
so gross. That thing looks so gross. Like I don't know.
Right?
Like,
But
It almost looks like a creature in there, you know?
Oh, it's alive. It's
Is it
double.
alive?
It's a double galaxy in a jar, and it's like this is titanium white monoatomics above, and then it's like the reddish orange copper hydroxides as the two counter spinning galaxies below. And there's this aluminum copper electrode that's not plugged into anything, but I just had it in the Ormus, and it separates and creates the two galaxies as you see there. And before I filmed that one I had put more Ormus or the monoatomic stuff into, which disturbed the bottom, which created the dual spirals. And then this one was
Look at
filmed
that.
right before that.
That's
And
pretty
this
way.
Yeah, that's neat. It's clearly
Yeah.
got two counter-rotating spirals.
counter rotating, exactly. So this one I had put just a
Wow.
little bit more water in, and it's the water went all the way down, but the Ormus at the bottom didn't spin. It was just the white titanium monoatomics that did the counter rotating dual spiral or galactic spirals on this one.
So what is that?
And you can see the path. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lulu.
No, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just gonna say, in between the spirals, you can see the path where it's going straight.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Literally, you can see the path where they go straight in the middle. Right there, right? It's
So what is that
it's the-
nucleus in
So,
there?
sorry, I missed
What
the
is that?
part. How do you make them spin?
So I just added a little bit more extra water into the jar, and just the water creates the imbalance that then creates the self-organization spirals.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can see that there's like this metal electrode there that, and there's two. So this is the, oh, is it loading? Oh, I guess that's the second one. Did load? Yes. All right, yeah. So this one's a little bit, this video is a little bit longer than the first one I just played. It was like a minute afterwards, after that first one that you saw, and you can still see them spinning, counter rotating
Oh my.
as they move further down.
That's cool.
Do they turn from something to something else?
It's like just the entropy of the new water that's put in, or new solution, the new charge. It's the charge of the water that creates this imbalance, and then the spiraling self-organization aspect.
Blake,
So
you're
you've
gonna,
heard
you're gonna have a black hole in your jar, dude.
Yeah, you've heard a
Right,
story in a jar.
exactly.
He's creating a galaxy in a glass.
A jar, right? No, it's a
Yeah,
jar.
jar,
These are this is a jar. This is from above, so it's like, yeah, I've got the galaxies in the jar. So this I had added a little bit more water. It's of GANs, or the Ormus stuff, that then went to the bottom and stirred up this dual counter-rotating spirals. This was taken probably like an hour after the first two, and then after
Well, you
this,
can see how they're formed. You can see in real time how the galaxies are formed using that motion. So cool.
oh, absolutely, right? It's
Imagine
micro to
Little
macro,
creatures in there, and then all of a sudden they think we're the gods.
right? Just like the Futurama episode with Edward's like case and stuff.
Like,
For
you know,
sure.
hello there, hello little creature.
Bernie's
Where's
the god.
Or do you live in there?
Where's the planet Klingon?
Somewhere around this aluminum. I'm not going to say because it's a child's or a family-friendly show. So here's the final video, and this one was taken maybe a day or so later, and you can see that I removed that aluminum copper electrode that was in the middle, and now instead when I added water, it only formed one spiraling galactic action in there,
That's
and
pretty.
it's much larger, right? It's almost taking up about 2/3 of the jar. But when it goes to the beginning again, I'm going to pause it and point out a specific anomalies of extreme surface tension, but not just surface tension. So these are bubbles right here, and they're actually a few inches below the top of the water, and that they're held electrically, I guess, charged, suspended in place. And that despite the fact that I had added additional water into the jar, those bubbles remained in this suspended, I guess, electrobuoyant or electrogravitic suspension within, and much, much below the surface. So it's not even surface tension that can be claimed that's preventing the bubbles from breaking and going up. They're literally being held at the same depth that this spiral is further over in the reaction. And it's like you can see that there's some that comes around and then joins into the spiral, and that on the surface itself, that it's also moving the particles that are floating above the water, even though there's an exclusion zone of several inches between where the spiral is happening. The monatomic Ormus, and then clear water for a couple inches before you get to the surface of the water of the jar, and that it's still mimicking or having that same motion. And the biggest aspect of it is that it's all electric charge and entropy that causes and drives these motions, as opposed to these eddy currents from heat distribution or whatever. It's actually electric charge that dictates the motion and their position.
It reminds me of the Nirvana song "Sappy." You know, they whatever is inside your galaxy, they live in a jar and they think they're happy.
Right?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just getting poetic here.
No, I like it. It's good. And then I'll just finish off with one more video. This was from about 10 years ago, and this is, I had made some silver bismuth monoatomic combination in the base, and then after using up all the bismuth, then I added an additional silver piece, so then it's also silver and silver monoatomic, so the mixture of the two. And you can see at the very bottom there's like this giant galactic flow, and then the galaxies in a couple areas, and then you can see above where the galaxy flows of motion of some of the Armus is that there's also clouds moving in opposite directions and specific straight directions, and over top of each other. Like there's several layers of specific motion and direction, but that they're not interfering with one another. They position themselves by charge once again.
Nice.
And then also, I believe you can see on that a couple times I pick up or I, with my finger, move that floating lid cap, bottle cap that is metal, and that it also it's directly in the center, and it keeps being drawn back specifically to that spot.
Cool.
Quite fascinating. That is like the magnetic center of it.
It's like
It's like
the Lorentz force, you know.
well, you can see the magnetic lines of force.
Right? Yeah, like in the actual
Yeah.
spiraling motion of the Ormus below.
So what's up with the yeah, I'm gonna share my screen one sec. The lines of force, um, it's it's an extension of the quantized. Sorry, one sec here.
Sorry, Mike. It was like we click at the same time to start, then we both did click for a minute and then like clicked again at the same time. It was funny.
Yeah, that's the representation of the quanta here, and at a greater scale is going to create some sort of lines of force if you extend it. I'm just trying to link the lines of force with the quanta or the discrete curves. Um, but anyway, I guess I'm talking to myself. I just don't understand myself here. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to understand the lines of force. You know, because it's like a quanta. You know, you have a plateau of force, and then after a certain distance, you have another plateau of force. Then you have another plateau. It's just like
Yeah.
the quantum forces. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it's
I
just
do.
just
And
at
so
the micro scale.
exactly, that's exactly what it is. And it's um the charge separation, and that you're bang on how it like how it forms and the distance, and then it drops off, and then you got the inverse going the next way, and then
Yeah,
these little neutrals. And that it didn't really have pictures or examples ready to show or that we're demonstrating in those videos, but I've got a lot of times in between those counter rotating charge separations, you'll have a what is it, like a, I forget the exact term, but it's is a line of force that uh, is perpendicular to the other two directions, and it will capture and hold all of the matter. It's it'll come to me. It's like a plasma field or something like that. Um, I'll have to look back. It was in the plasma crystal video that I did in stream that I did that that Biolumin channel read off a whole bunch of definitions, but specifically, it's this like force field of energy between the two um, charge differences, and that creates this field of force that
Bernie,
keeps it.
did you see that video I showed earlier about the pyramids?
I have not yet. I would
Okay,
love to.
I'm gonna show it again because this will really spark a really good conversation. So I'm gonna show my
yeah. I
screen.
forgot to show something also after I'll show it.
Okay.
I actually, guys, I gotta work in the morning, so I'm gonna take off. But I appreciate everything.
Just take a coffee, man.
All right, Ken, much love, benefactor.
Yeah, I appreciate everything, guys.
Oh, hold on here. Just bear with me here for a second. I'm gonna pull the channel up again. Just give me a minute here.
Just wanted to thank the chat
Lord?
real quick before I leave. Thank you, chat. You guys have been awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Okay, here it is. All right, got it. Screen. Okay, check this out, Bernie.
Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa, and Filippo Biondi, involved in radar and remote sensing research with the University of Strathclyde, published peer-reviewed research in 2022 via MDPI entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using SAR data, synthetic aperture radar, along with proprietary software developed by Filippo Biondi that transforms the radar signals into phononic information, which allows for the detection of millimetric vibrations. This cutting-edge technology is capable of revealing underground structures invisible to traditional methods and revealed internal structures never seen before. Having established their
Look at
key
that. That's a massive pyramid
to
within.
explore pyramid structures non-invasively, a recent press release on their current project was released last Saturday. This March 15th press release summarized the key findings in the team's research of the second largest pyramid of the Giza Plateau, known as the Khafre Pyramid. And what they found was astonishing. The analysis of dozens of tomographic SAR images obtained from different angles enabled the 3D reconstruction of inside the pyramid of Khafre and deep beneath the surface of the plateau. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures are seen, connected by geometric pathways. Inside each of these are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof.
Yo,
Below
can you
these
pause it
5
for a
structures
second?
are 8 cylindrical structures, which appear to be
Holy F. If this is legitimate, this is absolutely mind-blowing. And look at those like solenoid freaking like that's electromagnet essentially. Like you have the winding around if that's water or ferrite, that's like your bar, and then if that's conductive, that is your solenoid around. So you have a whole bunch of these massive giant electromagnets going ridiculously far below, and then above it those freaking resonator chambers shooting up like
Know how deep they go? Know how deep they go?
um
2 kilometers.
wow, whoa.
vertical wells, hollow inside, and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all merge into 2 large cubic structures, measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Mainstream Egyptology tells us that the Giza pyramids were tombs for pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, and that they were built around 2500 BC using ramps, sledges, and levers. But the redundant mathematics in their construction, which include pi, the golden ratio, and the speed of light, along with the testimony of today's expert architects, suggests that the official story does not hold up. The massive underground structure revealed by the recent SAR data shows what appears to be a mechanical or functional system.
Yeah, so thick tube, then empty, wrap tube, whatever these massive chamber buildings are, and that it also looks like right at the top of those tube spiral things, before you get into the pyramid, there's like a straight row of what almost looked like tuning fork, macro tuning fork things, Ray. Like, there's so much to this. This
is earth shattering.
And like China released like a month ago with like some new satellite plasma system that they did or whatever, that they found that right above the Giza Plateau pyramids, there's what they call this plasma cloud going into outer space from it. And then on the opposite side of the world, on like some islands that are exactly the opposite side or whatever the heck, that there's like parallel or identical or similar plasma cloud or something like, which that just what?
Let me finish the video here.
For sure.
And this has been hypothesized in the past. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could harness Earth's natural frequencies. This arguably inspired his experiments in wireless energy transmission and scalar waves. In the Giza power plant, Christopher Dunn argued that the Great Pyramid was a power-generating machine using resonant and acoustic forces to convert mechanical stress into electricity. In the Giza Death Star, Joseph Farrell proposed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a weapon of mass destruction using a type of physics that he calls paleophysics to focus energy as a scalar weapon. The cylindrical wells could be conduits for energy or sound waves, and the cubic structures might serve as energy storage or stabilization units, akin to components in a large-scale weapon or generator. And the detection of vibrations in the pyramid's internal structures reflects all of these ideas. The Khafre project hopes to plan an excavation in order to discover more about this underground structure, but history shows that this will be very difficult to get approval for. Greg Reese reporting.
Okay, can you play the beginning 30 seconds again, please, Mike, where it gives like all the details of where this report came from, and it explained the technology quite well, which
Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, involved in radar and remote sensing research with the University of Strathclyde, published peer-reviewed research in 2022 via MDPI entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using SAR data, synthetic aperture.
That right of the two and 2022 they claim. So I'm gonna have to fact check that afterwards and look in, but that sounded pretty legit. Like that's
I'll put the link for the video in the private chat.
Yes, please.
Can you guys imagine what they could do with this technology? Like, I mean, we could like uncover everything. I mean, everything. Like, if they could peer,
Right.
like 2 kilometers, beneath the ground, like everything that has ever been documented and lost could be refound. Right? Or
exactly. Like we're reaching this point where everything is now being seen or about to be seen and found.
What it's showing us too, what we suspected all along is true.
Yeah.
The Egyptians, the guy who is, I guess you could say, the gatekeeper for the
Howie Ross or whatever the heck his name, beyond gatekeeper. Horrible dude.
So and he's hiding this. So now they're using this advanced radar system to detect structures below the pyramids that a lot of people suspected for a long time. So Wardenclyffe Tower was based on the pyramids. Tesla knew there were structures below the pyramid. Why do you think Tesla built the Tesla coil the way he did? Because he knew he could send power through the air as well as through the ground.
But you notice something? They supposedly they use this as a defense system. Defense against what though? Back then, there was no like known Air Force or any like anything that another country's gonna come through the air.
Maybe there was an Air Force. We just don't. There's a lot of hieroglyphs and models, especially in India, of flying machines. So
it's interesting, right?
Right.
Like, what are they protecting?
All the Vimanas.
The Vimanas. Yep.
Another thing that could come to mind: what if they directed it towards asteroids or meteorites or things like that, and that was
nobody realizes. It would be so cool if that thing was still active, like from the original design of it, if it was still active.
Right? compared to like it. Obviously, it's still got some functionality if there's still this plasma cloud that was just detected by the Chinese, but compared to like when it had the white casing stones, the actual capstone, whatever was working on
I
the
think
insides, like it would have been probably shooting like whatever. What Phil? What was that laser you were talking about earlier? And like what?
The station of extreme light.
hey,
But the measurement, it was like 25, like something to the power of 25 laser. Like that's what I would
Oh
see
yeah,
coming out of those things if they were actually still functioning.
Petawatt.
yeah,
Petawatt, right?
Petawatts.
Like petawatt Sazer, maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
don't forget too. Tesla came out with the Teleforce weapon. Maybe this is where he
Yeah.
got the idea of the Teleforce weapon based on the pyramid design.
Very
so not
true.
only that, it was also a directed energy weapon as well.
I would say I would think he derived that on his own. Like he was like so smart to the point where I think he
He
conceptualized
thinks
that
he channeled a lot
without
of stuff. Like it came to him in dreams, and that like he'd then work on it in his mind and stuff. I believe.
I mean, maybe yeah.
Yeah, he came up with it in his head, and
didn't he say that he was in contact with the aliens at some point?
yeah, he said he did have, I guess you could say, like a download.
Yeah.
He used to.
I believe
You
it
know
though.
what?
I believe
There's some folklore out there that when Tesla went to bed every night, he left a pad of paper beside his bed, and in the morning there would be a complex electrical circuit drawn or
Well,
invention on that
I
pad.
believe that.
Now,
I'm gonna have to start trying that myself, right?
was
that's
it his
just coming-
handwriting or was it somebody else's handwriting?
Exactly. That's the folklore. Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
but truly, I do believe in the whole download because it does happen to me often. Like I would have no idea
Even
about
Tesla
a
said
topic,
that too.
about
Tesla
a
said
topic,
that too.
and I
He
would
goes,
wake up and I would know things that I know I didn't read, I know I didn't see, and I know I didn't come up with anywhere. But all of a sudden, I just know it.
yeah. Well, Tesla said himself, he says, I didn't come up with this knowledge. This knowledge was given to me from out there. And at nighttime, this is when he got these downloads. And then mysteriously in the morning on the pad of paper, he had these complex engineering drawings and circuits and all the great inventions, the electric motors, all that stuff.
Can I wonder if I could give it parts and it will build something, not just paper. If I could give it like parts and sleep and then wake up and then it's all made. That would be cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something before the show ends.
Yep.
I completely forgot about it, but it's pretty amazing. So you remember my simulator that I've been working on for on and off?
Yeah.
So I simulated an atom actually, and you can see it uses the quanta as well, the quanta of the energy level of each orbit and all that stuff. But I need to modify by the way, finite theory integrates time dilation in it. That's why it's more stable than its Newtonian counterpart. But if I use the formulas that are mainstream, it doesn't work. I have the exact masses. But if I use the if I use the speed that the textbooks are saying, then it doesn't work. The orbit is not going to be stable. So I need to modify the speed. The speed is not. I need to divide it by 10 actually, and inverse the energy level, because the equation is kind of x, so some number divided by the energy level, but I need to multiply the energy level to get the tangential speed. I cannot divide it. So it's everything is in the link. I shared the link. Maybe you can post it on the chat, the YouTube link, because I'm explaining the equations that is problematic, and that's kind of because it doesn't make any sense. Because Lulu asked me the question the other day about whether the electron has more energy on the greater it gets, to a greater orbit it gets, or energy level it gets. Apparently, yes, it gains energy, but it's not the kinetic energy; it's the potential energy. But potential energy is not an energy that is within the electron. It's just a potential energy. It's not there yet. You know what I mean? So the mainstream equations for the atomic, the electron orbits is very messed up, and I want to point that out here also. So I know it's hard to digest what I'm saying in 2 or 3 minutes, but um, it's
Well, we gotta do a full episode covering that, Phil, because I'd like to get you to enter a few different um, chemical atomic simulations into what you're doing there, because well, it's a bit of a project, but I love what you're doing, and I want your help taking it to the next level with some of my own predictions in, like, I guess the cold fusion sort of thing, but that I would like to run some simulations with different isotopes and whatnot.
yeah, that's the goal to predict nuclear fission and fusion, and all that stuff, and chemical reactions also. I just think,
Exactly, bang on in what we can do together with that. Some serious work.
yeah, definitely. Um, I got the electric forces. I still need to integrate the magnetic forces, because the electric field, the electrons are rotating, and it induces a magnetic field as well. I just need to integrate that, and then I'll be good, because I've got everything else running fine, and it uses the same generic equation to explain the black holes. So from the atomic level to the black holes, I'm using the exact same equation.
If you can stabilize the orbits, the electron orbits, man, you probably should win a Nobel Prize. You don't understand. If you integrate
Right.
the magnetic field into the equation and have it as a stable electron orbitals, like,
Yeah,
just probably, I believe you really are onto something nobody has yet reached in really, really analyzing how the orbits and the electrons move,
yeah, definitely. That's. I mean, again, I'm gonna show you, since you. I'm gonna. Sorry to doubly extend this, but I want to show Bernie, since he's here, the
Absolutely, pull it up.
the quantum. The quantum. Sorry, somebody's presenting something here.
Just the
Uh,
video I got playing in the background. Don't worry about it.
oh yeah.
Pull up.
So So the simulator is able to simulate the quarks as well. So it's really acting like a quark. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes. Yeah.
it simulates the quarks as well. So it goes down to the quantum level as well. So um, yeah. So it goes. I'm using the same equations for the quarks, the atomic level, and the
Perfect. The
black hole.
micro to macro full scale. And that, have you read the recent unified theories with using entropy as like the missing aspect of connecting electromagnetics and gravity?
Nah, I heard about it, but I didn't really look in depth on it. But I
There's a
heard
few.
about it.
Yeah, I would recommend it because that's what got me onto this um, kick of it all, and that then I was on like a week long, right, like channeling some science stuff, like some source code sort of thing, and then like trying to make sense of it and put it all together. Had a lot of private chats, private science streams with a few people and stuff. But one of the main things that I came to the conclusion of was that I need to work with you, Phil, on specifically rendering these isotope things with in regards to it's the electromagnetic charge of uh, the position of the electrons in the rings forming the bonds and the breakdown of them from the charge, and doing that modeling and the isotopes that come out of it that would be able to, well, the results will be, it's what I'm missing to write my paper, I guess my full thesis on the um, electrochemistry, fusion, fission, and process sort of thing. Anywho, that
Okay,
was a
cool.
bit of a off tangent and stuff. What we're looking at right now here is a triple copper solenoid that is nano coated on the left side, and you can see a bunch of bubbles starting to form on it. And then on the right side is from the top is just a single copper wire that's nano coated that goes down into the jar and connects to another one of these little copper nano coated solenoids. There's no electrical charge going in, there's no outside charge going in, but you can see these lines of monoatomics and flow going from the wire to the solenoid, and that this jar had been sealed for a couple of years. I opened it up, and then these flow, it literally like comes to life with like this self-organizing flow of material from one to the other as it creates a little I guess it forms one as an anode, one as a cathode, and uses them as electrodes within the um, self-organizing electric charge, the charge differential, and what it does, how it does that. But yeah,
So you have a potential of energy here.
exactly. It creates a large potential that runs, and once it gets going, it will run for like a solid 3 months to a year, depending on the setup now, and it'll produce hydrogen nonstop on its own. And that when I measure, there is a bit of a voltage from the differentials of where I place them and how I structure the triple solenoids, which
Oh,
also make,
that's the electrolysis device that you were talking about.
yeah, one of my like saltwater electrolysis devices that I've made myself. But yeah, this one has zero electrical input going in at all. It's just from the positioning of the coils and the nano coating.
Oh,
But
nice.
all that is in that solution is salt water and copper, and it had been sealed for a couple years. I opened it up and the reaction starts and it goes.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Figured I'd just show that while I had it up. Anyone else, any last things to say? I'm guessing Mike, you're getting ready to shut her down in almost 3 hours there.
Yeah, it's pushing midnight here. Been a long day.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, I
doubt.
gotta try to wake up and train tomorrow morning. Try to, I'm not sure.
Well, guys,
try.
thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Chat, you were great. Awesome chat tonight. Some really good conversations going on.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Anybody in the group or in the chat has a rubidium atomic clock?
If you have an extra, first send one to Phil, then send one to me, then send one to Mike. And yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. So, we go live to air again next Friday night. Tuesday is Mr. Faraday's birthday here. And,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of birthdays in March. My cousins and my brother's son. He's on the 27th. I'm on the 25th. My wife is March 2nd.
You're a whole March family.
I know, except for my daughter. My daughter is in April, but
Yeah.
everybody else.
Close.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks a lot, chat. You're great. We'll see everybody next week.
Awesome.
Take care. Take care. Thanks, guys.